freeway. So I think we are about to see some really dangerous, very precarious situation here for every motorist who you see in this frame. Again, westbound side of the 91 freeway has now transitioned to the the northbound 5 freeway. He is now northbound on the 5 freeway, where traffic, I've got to tell you, is relatively light for as far as I could see out the window from up here at Air 7 HD. Very little traffic in his way. I can only imagine, as you were wondering too, David, that I can only imagine that CHP has been requested to take this over, because you've got Anaheim PD, who's pretty much out of pocket. They do have their airship in the area, but Fullerton PD is now out of their jurisdiction. Now he's getting off at Beach Boulevard. So getting off at Beach Boulevard, onto Beach Boulevard. Oh, look at that, fishtailing. Off of Beach Boulevard onto Auto Center Drive as he continues northbound at a high rate of speed. A little more traffic on this street here as he makes a wild right turn into oncoming lanes of traffic. There's Anaheim PD's helicopter. They are directly over him, likely calling out for CHP. But right now, ever since he took this vehicle out of that parking lot, we have not seen any ground units engage with this suspect yet.
All right, Chris Christie, thank you for that. And we're going to continue to follow this pursuit, a crazy pursuit. And I'm going to ask you in a moment just to recap what you know about this suspect. This is Giovanna Lotta. You're watching Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock as we continue to follow this breaking news alongside David Ono.
So as we were saying, Chris, the suspicion that he won't be able to handle a vehicle like this, watching his back end kind of lose traction and almost flip the vehicle over, that's exactly what we were talking about. This guy is so reckless and dangerous that, you know, I'm really fearful of what lies ahead here.
Yeah, very fearful, very agitated driver behind the wheel here. It all started as a failed traffic stop, refusing to pull over. He was in a black Honda Civic when it all started, and it appeared, we saw him on several occasions try and dump that vehicle, and now he has taken over a white van. That's a GMC van, almost looks like a work van that was parked in those townhomes, now on Artesia Boulevard as CHP tries to get in here and race up Artesia to catch up with the suspect. But once again, no black and whites in sight as he is breaking every rule of the road and showing no regard for anybody's safety here, just ramming into vehicles whenever he sees anybody in his way. He sideswiped 2 separate vehicles, getting off of the 91 freeway, lost control at Beach Boulevard, as you said, Dave. David, he fishtailed off of the freeway there, almost lost control actually, and is now regained control on a much less traveled boulevard here. This is Artesia Boulevard, where you can see once again he's got much of the road all to himself here.
Right, it's wide open. He is gunning it. I'm sure there's an explanation why there aren't any black and whites on him, and maybe they're working their way towards him because he is moving really quickly. But that situation that we're watching on the right, we're rerunning the video of him desperately ramming into a police car and trying to get out, and yet we still don't see any black and whites kind of maneuvering their way to him. It's interesting.
He is just bound to lose control of this vehicle. You could tell with every turn, he's barely braking. He's taking all of these turns way too fast. A very top-heavy vehicle that he is showing very limited capability of controlling. There are some black and whites a ways back, but they are having trouble catching up. They are not competing with him with these dangerous tactics that we're seeing here. He is driving very dangerously, but they've got to figure something out because this is the same driving that we were seeing when he was in a small little black Honda Civic. We were very easily able to spot him on the freeway. Look at this, more traffic in his way. We'll see what he does here, but every time he's caught himself in a little bit of a jam, he just tries to use the vehicle to ram his way through here. Looks like he's gotten through that light there. Here we're on Valley View Avenue. As I was mentioning, it was very easy to spot him on the freeway originally because the driving was so erratic. And again, throughout this pursuit, except for when he stole this vehicle, he has had really nobody behind him. He's just driving like a madman through the streets of Whittier now here on Valley View Avenue at Alondra Boulevard. through the green light here with a little more traffic in his way, and we'll see what he attempts to do here. But I've got to believe that Honda was running out of fuel. You saw some front-end damage. He obviously had been in some collisions with that car, and we already have witnessed several collisions with this car. Not to mention that wild scene in the parking lot. If you missed it, I hope we can roll back some of that video where he was ramming that black and white, that lone Fullerton police officer who was just trying to block parking spot with his gun drawn. He rammed that black and white out of the way, and the pursuit is on once again. But right now, as we've been saying, no law enforcement able to keep up with him just yet.
Driving extremely recklessly, and it's now, what, 5:05? People are getting out of work. Families are driving home, with their kids from school. A very dangerous situation. The afternoon commute always heavier. Now he's going against traffic. Look at this, against traffic.
Over the median into oncoming lanes of traffic through a parking lot here. He's going to come out on Rosecrans Avenue, going the wrong way on Rosecrans, wrong way on Rosecrans.
Oh my gosh, and there's no way off.
Oh my goodness, look at this. He's going to probably shift over to the correct lanes here, but he had nowhere to go there, didn't jump the median, just went the wrong way, is now on the westbound side of Rosecrans Avenue, heading back towards the freeway. He's going to come up on the 5 freeway, approaching Norwalk. If he continues in the westbound direction here, looks like another crazy turn there onto a surface street into a parking spot for no reason whatsoever. Just went right over the curb there. I mean, there really wasn't anybody in his way. I'm not even sure what's going through this guy's mind. This is just very unpredictable. Impossible to set up for a spike. Look at this.
Look at him. Is he losing? No, he's not losing control. That was
trying to get around
intentional.
traffic. Yeah, almost slammed into that tree. Now, look at this. Fishtailing through the parking lot, drifting through an empty warehouse parking lot.
Something's wrong with the wheels.
Marquette Avenue.
Wow.
He is having a lot of trouble with this vehicle, guys.
Maybe something's wrong with the wheels.
Or it's just really heavy. He's not used to it. Maybe there's a lot of weight in it. It's top heavy. There could be a lot of explanations, but it is a large vehicle that's never meant to be driven the way he's driving it. And
Absolutely
so as a result, he's losing the back end of it and almost losing complete control.
Yeah, not composed at all. It looks like he might even have a flat tire. Look at this.
You're right. He's lost the tread.
Yeah.
He's on his rim.
Yeah.
He's on that left rear tire is almost down to, I don't know if there's any tread left, but he's looks like he's got some sparks coming off. Occasionally you saw some of that rubber flying off, and now he's going to have even more trouble maintaining control of this vehicle as he continues northbound on Marquette Avenue, right along the wash here. There's a golf course off of the nose, but we are in a commercial area. It's going to turn into a more residential street if he continues, but there is a black and white now behind him, code 3 with lights and sirens on, about maybe 50 feet back. Let's go ahead and widen out and see which agency that is that's behind him. That looks like maybe still Fullerton. It's Fullerton PD. Fullerton PD back in pursuit, guys.
It is unbelievable.
And this is Santa Fe, sorry to cut you off, Santa Fe Springs, or is he back in Whittier now? Ooh, look at the light.
Yeah, we're in the Norwalk area, I think, now as he comes up. Well, no, he's not in Norwalk yet, but look at this. He's going through that gas station without any tire on that left
collision.
Right, that left
he got out
rear
just in
wheel.
time.
Almost struck several vehicles there. A miracle nobody's gotten hurt yet, but you can see he is really in a jam now. Lots of traffic ramming into all of these cars here. Again, this is northbound Carmenita Road.
He's spinning that back wheel, and it's not going anywhere. Now he's wedged.
He's stuck. Now he's stuck.
Yeah, he's wedged against that car with no tread on his left-hand side. He's trapped right now. He might be able to get himself free, but this is where it's really going to get dangerous for a lot of folks around.
He's revving it.
Sparks flying, and that officer right there has to treat this with kid glove care.
Yeah.
And likely going to have to step away from his vehicle because we already seen him put it in reverse once and ram into that other patrol car. Right now he's trying to go forward, and he's not going anywhere.
The Ram's going to get red hot and start a fire.
Stuck.
Yeah,
that's what I fear. Likely to start a fire. You can see those rims are starting to glow.
But I'm surprised there's not more.
What is
more backup?
I'm sure
there's certainly more on the way over here. Right now, if we widen it just
Red
a little
hot.
bit, we can confirm just that one black and white. Just the one black and white. We're at Placid Drive,
And he's backed up.
northbound Carmenita Road.
Look at
and he is now stranded here. We'll see how this officer deals with this. He's likely just going to wait for backup, and right now it doesn't appear
Is he-
as though that
He
van
is
Is he
just-
going
intentionally trying to start a fire?
Well, he's desperate. Look at him. Look at him.
probably
He's
not
desperate.
aware.
But we don't know if there's somebody in that white car. And that could be another complication to this situation.
Very
right.
agitated.
He's agitated, exasperated. He's not thinking clearly. He should be giving up. This is ridiculous that he's doing
I
this.
wonder if he
But
might
there
be
could
under
be
control.
somebody over there.
You've got to wonder if he's thinking about getting out of this van and trying to hijack another one. You've got to at least wonder whether that's going through his mind.
There's-
He's probably not aware. Well, now
Look
he's
at this,
aware.
there's
I was
so
going to say
much-
he might not
This
even be
is-
aware that his wheel's on fire, but certainly he's aware of the fire under the hood. More pieces flying out there as this vehicle is starting to
What
come apart.
was that? Did something explode, or what was that flying from the front of the vehicle? Maybe the engine blew.
I'm thinking it came from well, it could be, because, I mean, where else would that smoke be coming from? But I don't
Well,
think any
the-
shots have been fired
the
yet.
wheel's
so that
still spinning,
probably
too.
is not the case. But that wheel, that left rear wheel, is also creating some metal as well. So it could have come from the rear, but now I've got to wonder if that transmission is just reached its limit, and that's what's producing the smoke here. Not sure, but in any event, it has overheated, and it looks like the vehicle is now disabled. Additional units now pulling into position
CHP.
here. So some
That's a
backup
welcome
from
sight.
CHP, backup from CHP and Fullerton PD.
Oh, he's gone.
As he gets out of the vehicle, crawls out of the passenger window, and is now running for it northbound Carmenita Road. Running up northbound Carmenita at Leffingwell Road as he crosses the street. We've seen this person make several desperate attempts to hijack other vehicles. We will see what he decides to do here. Lots of folks getting home here in Fullerton, or here in the La Mirada area, I want to say, and he is now running down the sidewalk without any other wheels at his disposal. He's going to start running out of steam here, and we'll see if this ends in a foot pursuit, because I think they are pursuing him on foot, but I can't confirm that from my
Here we go.
vantage
Here we
point.
go.
Here comes another officer in the opposite direction,
More
and he's
backup.
now run into a residential
This is a
alleyway
very
here.
dangerous
Okay.
situation. Oh,
Loses
my
his
goodness.
footing.
Those people need
Is that
to...
a dog?
Oh, no.
Oh no, he's now on private property. You saw that it looked like a woman next to her home here. He's now in the backyard, and he's going to hide out here along Leffingwell Road.
Oh, you see...
There he is. He's jumped the fence.
Jumping fences.
Jumping a
He's
fence.
jumping fences, looking for a way into one of these homes.
Dogs.
Was that a dog?
Is he trying to
Little
get into
dog,
the
small
home?
dog there in the backyard. He's under that patio,
Tarp.
yeah, the awning. He's trying to get into that car, into that house rather.
I'm just concerned about the people because he's clearly desperate. We don't know if he's armed.
Oh, the dogs
He
are
does
running
appear
out. Oh, there he
dangerous.
is. He's
Trying to break
he's in.
break into a home.
He is in.
Several dogs barking. He's now going through that sliding glass door, making his way into the home.
There's a homeowner, or maybe that's a police
Somebody
officer in
appears
the
to
front.
be, yeah, it
I don't
might even
think
be a
so.
homeowner, not
I think it's the
sure.
homeowner.
Oh, my
He's probably, he might be unaware.
He could probably...
There's somebody in his
Completely
house.
unaware. Yeah, he's on the other side of the building. I don't think he has any clue.
He might be hearing the lights and sirens, went
Very
outside to
dangerous
check it
situation
out,
here where
not
we have
realizing.
no information, but here
running.
comes somebody running out the
Oh, my-
front. Look at this.
oh, my
Look at this, a
goodness.
confrontation
These are the people inside the
a
house,
family
multiple
home,
people.
And now we're going to come around the front here.
Oh, my goodness. They're trying to-
Oh,
they're
my
trying to-
goodness. Look at this.
They're going after
Well,
him.
where's the guy?
He's
He's
getting in the
truck.
car.
He's in the truck.
He's in their vehicle.
He's in the
No.
truck.
And there's a
he just
dog
got in
under
that
it.
Truck. There's a dog under that
Oh,
truck.
my goodness.
Oh my goodness! Look at this.
Oh, my
he just stole
goodness.
it. Oh my
Oh,
goodness! Oh my
gosh.
goodness! Oh my goodness! This is incredible.
Ran
this is
right through
incredible.
their gate. Tore down their gate.
Unbelievable. Stay with us. We're going to get the signal back. There it is.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe what we are witnessing, guys. They are going to have to get creative here
The
because
charges are
this
mounting.
person is look at this. Just ramming into cars, additional bumpers flying off of that other vehicle. And now he's, I believe, westbound on Leffingwell Road. I want to say westbound. Is that? Can we put the compass up real quick? Yeah, westbound Leffingwell. If you live in this area or have any idea where we are here,
Stay
if you are
inside.
looking at us, you need to stay inside because there is a dangerous suspect behind the wheel here. I feel very sorry for all of the other cars on the road here as he continues to make his way towards the freeway once again. We may find ourselves back on the freeway, but look at him, a little bit of traffic, and once again, right through another gas station. This is just incredible. This is the third vehicle that he has stolen today.
This is, man, is a danger to society in every definition. This has to be shut down. And I imagine police officers from multiple agencies have been watching this and are putting together some sort of a game plan on how to handle them. And it may be something really aggressive.
That's right. That's the only thing that I could think of if they have the opportunity. They're going to have to catch up with him once again. They're going to have to get themselves in a position where they could bring this to an end if they can figure that out. And then there's going to be a very dangerous confrontation because this guy is not going away easily. There's just no way at this point that he is willing to give up. And whatever steam he lost running up that block, he's now comfortably in the driver's seat of a brand new work truck, and you can tell, I mean, he's having, we don't even know. I mean, there could be a full tank in that truck, so he may have a whole new fresh tank to play with here as he now travels down Mayer Road at 70 miles per hour, a high speed, traveling at a high rate of speed on a road that can't be more than 45 miles per hour speed limit, now back into another residential neighborhood.
I feel bad for the folks in that home because they have been violated. They had a guy break into their house. They went after him right there. Then he stole basically their business. Those kinds of trucks, people have their entire business on those trucks, and they could lose that as well, their well-being. And this person, look, he turned the lights out too.
Not to mention, he almost took out at least one person in that driveway and a dog that was underneath as well. I hope everybody is okay back there. But now we have to follow this until the end here because the sun is going down and still no visual of law enforcement within sight here. So we're going to try and keep the camera on him and hope that somebody can triangulate those officers into this residential neighborhood as he makes these random turns, now making a left turn onto Rainier Avenue off of Fidel at a high rate of speed. I mean, I just hope nobody is out walking this neighborhood because this person is just speeding right through. He
is desperate, and so I wonder two things. Why is there not a more unified effort on the part of law enforcement to slow this person down? Secondly, I just would think he's under the influence of something because he just will not quit.
Cops just went by him. You know, it is interesting. There's a lot of questions here. This is the third vehicle we saw him in. He so quickly is able to get into a vehicle, get it started, and get it moving. I wonder, is he hot-wiring each one of these? Maybe he's a really gifted thief, or were there keys in it? Nevertheless, we have seen him stubbornly, and that's a mild word, to get in from one vehicle to the next, and he has been successful. It's mind-boggling.
Well, you wonder if he threatened that
look at
family
this, over the
to get
median
their
again,
keys.
going the wrong way on Florence Avenue. Going the wrong way, head on with additional traffic down Florence Avenue. And look at this, coming up on another major intersection, a left turn northbound on Painter Avenue. To answer your question, David, that original van, I think he hot-wired. I have to believe that the keys in this truck were already inside the vehicle because he just ran away with that way too quickly, unless he, as you mentioned, is a really gifted car thief. In any event, there have been several major felonies that we have witnessed here this evening, and now a wild chase continuing northbound Painter Avenue with several black and whites behind him, but again, having trouble to keep up. Again, the speeds he's traveling and the dangerous tactics. No problem going the wrong way against traffic, 75 miles per hour on Los Nietos Road and Shoemaker Avenue. So again, a very light traffic here, and it wouldn't matter anyways because when there is traffic, he just seems to ram into everybody in his way. So we can only hope that the traffic stays light, and hope that maybe they can get some more officers into the area in front of him, not just following him from behind and chasing him, but try and triangulate in front of him. Very difficult because he's not, driving in any kind of a pattern. A spike strip obviously is pointless.
Wow.
Some cross traffic there through the red light at Santa Fe Springs Road, now well into Santa Fe Springs as he continues northbound here. Only a couple lanes to play with, maybe only one lane, I can't really tell, but he's continuing at a high rate of speed around that FedEx truck at about 70 to 80 miles per hour.
What's interesting, we've been so caught up in covering his moment-to-moment actions, we forget where this all started. I mean, you were finishing up a pursuit at Knott's Berry Farm. Those folks ran on to the property. They just got apprehended. You're pulling off of that, and you run into him taking off right there, and he's in this Honda Civic going like a bat out of hell, being exceptionally reckless, and we see him go from that to ramming into somebody, damaging the car, then jumping into this van right here, probably hot wiring that giant van, and the police pulling up right behind him. He rams into them. He somehow gets away. Then we see him lose his tread, and this crazy situation where he's wedged up against another car, refusing to give up, and just spinning that back tire. A fire sets in. He gets out. And then he runs through another neighborhood and eventually breaking into somebody's home. And we saw the confrontation with him and the homeowners right there. Somehow he is able to get into their vehicle, start that car, ram through their gate. And this is when law enforcement is in feet of him. And he is able to get out. And now this third vehicle in this one pursuit is now underway. It is just mind-boggling to describe what we've witnessed this afternoon.
And it's been just 40 minutes. I mean, if you think about it, this started about 20 minutes to 5 is when you first got on it, I believe, Chris. And it's 5:20, so he's done so much damage and left behind, so much damage in the last 40 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, he's on a bona fide crime spree here. We can only be thankful that it didn't appear that anybody in that home was hurt. At the very least, we have to be thankful for that. But it'll be a miracle if it remains that way throughout the course of this new pursuit now. Again, as you mentioned, in the third vehicle that we have seen him in today. Now, you're right. It's been about 25 minutes since this all started, I want to say. Is that right?
No, probably a little bit more. Probably a little bit more.
But
yeah, a little bit closer to 40 minutes.
The back end of the 4 p.m. it started.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was going away from the freeway here on Slauson. Now he's turned around and heading back towards the freeway. I wonder if he's looking for an opportunity to get back on the freeway. He is on Sorensen Avenue with a little more traffic in his way here, but he's heading back in the westbound direction here. So he was going eastbound Slauson, and for some reason, and he hasn't done this very often, but for some reason, he just turned around, very randomly turned around, back towards the freeway, and I wonder, my gut tells me he's looking for an entrance ramp. A close call there. Another residential street along Sorensen Avenue that Anaheim PD ships still right over him. They have been relentless as well, staying right on top of him. At least they have been able to do that and call out his location for all of these neighboring agencies. Now, LA County Sheriff is going to be getting involved here at some point. We are in Santa Fe Springs. In LA County Sheriff's jurisdiction. We've already seen several agencies, including Anaheim PD, Fullerton PD, and CHP, try to apprehend this suspect at various points, but he has done a masterful job of evading authorities while creating a lot of horror and havoc in Orange County and now back in LA County here on another residential street. A very random turn, so no destination in mind. I thought maybe he was trying to get to the freeway. Doesn't look like it. Just trying to maybe look for a spot to hide out, thinking this through. Maybe I don't know how familiar he is with this neighborhood, but maybe he's just looking for an opportunity to hide out. And you just have to, your thoughts right now are with everybody who lives in this neighborhood. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in a small little residential neighborhood here at Riesling and Wellsford. And if he decides to dump that vehicle once again, we already know what he's capable of.
Right.
And so I just hope, I mean, the best place he could end up right now, quite frankly, with guys, would be the freeway.
Right,
if he gets on the freeway, it's a much more manageable and contained atmosphere. But once you get into these residential streets with a dangerous madman behind the wheel like this, anything is possible. We've already seen it, and you can see that night sun coming on. Compliments of the Anaheim Police Department, Angel One right overhead as he continues these random turns. That, I think, was LA County's helicopter. So now 2 law enforcement helicopters following his each and every move. He's not going to get away, guys. They are going to get him off the road at all costs. This
He's
is
slowed down, but now with the night gun on it, he's speeding up. And
he's speeding up for sure.
Chris, we don't know anything about this guy, which is interesting. You stumbled upon it. I guess he just didn't pull over, an attempt to pull over, and he didn't stop. But we don't really know much more about him. Is that correct?
Right. Well, the question becomes: look at this. He's full speed at the end of Sorensen into a parking lot, and I think this is a shopping center at This is the Marketplace Shopping Center at Magnolia Avenue in Hadley. Okay. People walking through this parking lot. He's slowing down a little bit at least, but he's weaving his way through this parking lot, a very busy parking lot, as he tries to look for an outlet. You have to wonder, he's very aware of that night sun coming from the helicopter, and I can only imagine that night sun is agitating him even more. So at least we've made it through there without any trouble. He's made his way through that parking lot, now back onto Hadley Street, where you can see squarely that night sun is on him, and hopefully that doesn't cause him to amp things up even more than they already are. But as you mentioned, David, we do not know what the original want was. It was an attempted traffic stop. He failed to pull over, failure to yield, but obviously there is much, much more to this story, and from the very beginning I was questioning whether that original black Honda Civic even belonged to him, and from what we're witnessing here, my bet is that was likely a stolen vehicle as well. In any event, this is the third vehicle we've seen him in through another major street here, through the red light, continuing, I think, northbound on Hadley Street.
Chris, not to interrupt you, but I think he just hit another car at that intersection prior to this one. And if his previous behavior indicates anything, it just, to me, I would think he's looking for another vehicle that he can dump this one and jump into the next. And that's why he was going slowly through that neighborhood, perhaps.
Right. So Chris was describing this, Giovanna, and you saw this during Eyewitness News at 4, but this is where Chris picked this pursuit up, not knowing a whole lot about this suspect. He just took off on this Honda Civic. They tried to pull it over. We didn't know much more about that, but then we noticed immediately how reckless he was. He dumps that Honda Civic, jumps into this white van, and he must have hotwired it. But by the time he gets that thing started, see, he breaks into the front door, the driver's side door. Then the police pulls up right behind him. It's
this is incredible.
Right there. They get out of the way, and then he refuses. This is where it really pushed up the blood pressure, where you can see that this guy is desperate. He's gonna do anything he can to get away.
David, this is the second car he tried to hotwire. Right. This one successfully. Remember the truck that was on the street that he tried to break? I don't know what he was doing to try to get into that door. He was not successful. He jumped back into the Honda and then made his way to this white van parked here.
And then
to your point, he knows what he's doing.
He knows how to take a car, steal a car. So we are back now live on the left-hand side where he's going through this neighborhood. He's not so reckless right now. I wonder, what's going on with his mental state, Chris, but at least he isn't as dangerous at this very moment as he was just a few minutes ago.
David, he just sped past an elementary school with a whole bunch of people walking the street. Thankfully, he did not hit any of them. He is slowing down a little bit. I'm not sure what elementary school that was, quite frankly, but he's now on Beverly Boulevard at Haviland Avenue. And as the sun has set, obviously, you can see we are now in darkness as he continues the pursuit through these residential streets. The only light that we're working with is that night sun from the LA County Sheriff's Department. Looks like he's found himself in a dead end. He's at a dead end at the end of Alta Avenue, putting it in reverse, and he's going to reverse his way back out of here. We'll see if there's any black and whites waiting for him on the other side here. Well, let's widen out just a little bit, Rob. See what's waiting for him as he comes out the other end of Alta Avenue.
Where are
they? Nobody. There's nobody in his way here. He's going to continue, get back onto Beverly Boulevard, southbound or westbound Beverly. westbound Beverly Boulevard here in Santa Fe Springs, and no law enforcement in sight, guys. He is
And Chris,
slowing down a little bit.
This
Yeah,
might
go
be
ahead.
their strategy to pull back because of his erratic behavior and very bold behavior, and he's so desperate to get away. Maybe they're pulling back to sort of calm him down and get him to slow
To
down.
mellow out a little bit.
I've got to be honest. I can't imagine them taking that tactic in this type of a situation.
With the behavior that we
they have
witnessed.
to swarm him. They
Yeah.
have to swarm him and get him off the road at all costs. And by the way, if they were trying to bring down the temperature, they would not have that night sun on him. That
Right.
night sun
That's true.
is very agitating. He is clearly aware that law enforcement is on him, even though there's nobody right behind him. This is a pursuit. As far as we are aware, they are still in pursuit mode, trying to make their way in here. We just have to assume that they're just having a little trouble doing that.
Unbelievable. I can't even imagine. It's hard to imagine what we've witnessed today, but at least there he is. He's not flying past people at this very moment. He seems to be coming down just a little bit. I mean, he seemed exceptionally agitated and irrational a few minutes ago.
When he was in the white van,
Right.
he kept
You could see him
revving
moving
the
and-
engine, and he must have known that as he was revving the engine, it was the wheel was lighting up, and you could see the smoke coming from the engine of that van.
Yeah, but it is interesting to see. I'd love to hear the behind the scenes on law enforcement and what their thoughts are, trying to get vehicles to him, units to him. It has been just fascinating to watch, and still extremely scary as well.
It's
Okay,
like we're
guys,
watching a movie.
there is about 7 black and whites about a half a mile in front of him, trying to cut him off at the end of Beverly Boulevard here. We'll see how this plays out, but they are trying to keep up with him, trying to move into position. Keeping up with him really is the wrong word. They're not really able to do that because he's driving so dangerously and so recklessly, and occasionally at really high rates of speed. And when they do pull up behind him, he just jumps into the wrong lanes, going the wrong way into oncoming traffic. As he is right now, you see he's jumped those double yellow lines, going the wrong way down Beverly Boulevard just to get around this traffic. So they're taking a different tactic. They're trying to cut him off in front of him. Very difficult to predict where he's going to go, but at least they have the benefit of that helicopter calling out his location. Here they come. Here they come at Norwalk Boulevard. About 7 black and whites at the major intersection, making a right turn on Norwalk, and there it is. Look at this. And now they're behind him. Hot pursuit again.
Are these
now
sheriffs?
on Norwalk Boulevard, guys.
Are these sheriffs? Do you know?
These are going to be LA County sheriffs. That's correct. I think I counted at least 6. At least 6 that I saw.
Okay.
All right, this is going to get extremely dangerous again. He's going to gun it. It's a big vehicle. He's got units behind him. Look at him now flying past people, and this is going to put him in a desperate situation
80
again.
miles an hour, almost 90.
Yeah, this is
The
gonna be
only
scary.
good news, guys, is that as far as I could tell, Workman Mill Road is going to turn into a much more commercial area, an industrial area. If he continues further north, there are some train tracks that could get him a little bit tied up if he continues. But in any event, you see he is now using that shoulder to get around this traffic. If the shoulder wasn't there, you could bet your bottom dollar he would just ram right through these cars if he had the opportunity. But in any event, those black and whites trying to keep up, but they can't do what he's doing. So they're going to do their best to keep up. He's got the helicopter right over him, and it's just a matter of time before this comes to another tipping point.
Boy. And
hopefully it comes to an end before another person is hurt, another vehicle is taken, another confrontation.
We don't even know what the tally is on how many vehicles he's hit.
At least 4 or 5, at least.
Several vehicles with him being in several vehicles as well that he has ruined as well. So there has been a lot of damage due to his behavior. So there's a good shot there, Chris. They're moving in on him, and as you said, it becomes more industrial, less traffic, but open roads right now.
Open roads, especially this time of the night. On a weeknight, you can see some folks maybe going home, but for the most part, relatively light traffic on Workman Mill Road. Coming up on Peck, which is going to be a bit busier. So if he continues and makes a turn onto Peck Road, that'll be a different story. But right now, traveling at a high rate of speed, we'll throw that real-time speed tracker back up, and you can see he's going much faster than everybody else. That is a much, well, it looks like he's slowing down a little bit because he's got some traffic there, but you saw him do about 50 or 60 on this very narrow road. Once again, going around a little bit of traffic at Peck there, and he's going to come over the 605. That is the 605 overpass. Still now, actually, he's now turned onto Peck. He's now on Peck Road, just east of the, just west rather of the 605.
Yeah. And what makes it also so dangerous, these people on the road, they have no idea that they're in danger. They don't know this guy is coming, you know, at high rates of speed coming at them. And you're so tense because you know that something bad could
another advantage of getting
moment.
black and whites behind him with lights and sirens. At least hopefully they can hear it coming. And also, I know there have been near misses, and he flies through every intersection, but so far he hasn't smashed into somebody at one of those intersections. We're lucky when it comes to that. It looks like he's getting on the freeway.
Oh, and they're closing in on him.
I'm sorry, guys. We're just taking care of a little bit of housekeeping up here, and it looks like he's now getting on the freeway.
60
he's
freeway.
now on the 60 freeway, getting on from Peck Road, and now it's a whole different ball game. I can only hope, we can only cross our fingers and hope that he stays on the freeway, because that is going to take away at least some of the risk, although everybody on the freeway is certainly going to be in his path here of destruction, as we've seen this evening. CHP almost guaranteed to take this over at some point, but for now you can see those LA County Sheriff's officers managing to get on the freeway with him, but he's hugging that right lane. So you see that traffic. This is all rush hour traffic, and it looks like if that continues, he may look to get back over to the right and get off the freeway. In any event, he's in the carpool lane now, so committed for the time being to the eastbound 60 freeway. And look at this.
He's weaving,
just weaving around.
He's going almost to 90 a little bit ago. But he's certainly passing the other cars.
You see him slamming those brakes and coming right up behind some of these cars because he's going so much faster than them. But he's weaving his way through. If he's, I'm not quite clear on the traffic patterns on the 60 freeway where you are, Chris. I don't know if it's going to get really sticky, but if it does, then we might have another situation on our hands.
You know, I'm already recalling similar situations, nothing quite like this, but different situations where we've seen attempted carjackings on the freeway. It jumps to mind only because of what we've seen today. But in any event, you're right, David. It is going to slow down a little more. The traffic is going to get heavier. You're going to see a few more brake lights in about 2 miles off the nose. Traffic is a little bit heavier on the westbound side, but on the eastbound side, he's going to hit the brakes in about 2 miles. For the time being, those deputies are still in tow. They've fallen back a little bit, but right now, that driver has tunnel vision. He's got one mission, and he's just desperately trying to evade those deputies who have now fallen back even further. Every time he weaves through around another car in that carpool lane, they have to slow down because they are not driving the way he's driving, okay? Right. They are staying back, trying to keep the public safe, but now they're in a position where they have to probably start calling in some units who are up ahead of him, like we've already seen back in Santa Fe Springs. So likely CHP setting up for a traffic break up ahead here. Maybe not quite yet because that does take some time, but ultimately if he stays on the freeway, that's what we can expect to see. We can expect to see some tactics where they start to create traffic breaks behind him and traffic breaks ahead of him by blocking off those entrance ramps. And we'll see what they do with the exit ramps. But that all requires manpower and personnel, and we don't know what they have ready at their disposal at the moment. But in any event, those calls are going out now, and California Highway Patrol ready to help out the LA County Sheriff's Department here as we continue eastbound on the Pomona Freeway.
We were just watching some video on the right-hand side. That was when he carjacked this last vehicle, and I just noticed the homeowner. There was a confrontation between him and multiple people within that home. One of the homeowners was waving a knife at him, and he was still able to maneuver his way into that vehicle and get away, somehow get it started and get through their fence and be on his way.
It looked like a knife or something.
It looked like a knife, like a kitchen knife or something like that.
Perhaps a tool, but I also noticed that one of the female in that home was trying to keep one of her son or her husband.
What a situation. There it is. Okay.
Yes, so dramatic. Such a dramatic confrontation.
Watch the guy. That guy that's being held right there. He's got something in his hand.
He does.
It looks like a knife. They're doing what they can to protect their property, and he still is able to get his way. I feel bad for them because what a situation to find yourself in.
So awful.
Yeah.
And he, as you were talking, Chris, a moment ago, he was going so fast. You didn't have the speeds up on the screen, on the monitor there, but it seemed like he was going 100 miles an hour. He was just, blowing past all of the other vehicles on the freeway.
He's basically been gassing it and flooring it wherever he's had the opportunity. Now, this is concerning. He's now on the shoulder, but he's gotten all the way back over to the right. As I mentioned, that traffic that I was talking about, that's what you're looking at here. It's too much traffic for his liking, and I predict that he's going to take one of these upcoming exit ramps here. So we'll look out for that as we try and come around the driver's side here in just a minute. But he is hugging that right lane, and I'm not exactly sure. This is going to be, let me just double check here. I think this is going to be perhaps, that might be Rose Hills Road, the next exit ramp here. In any event, he is committed. Look at this. He's actually moving over to the left, so maybe committing to the 60 here. I hope that's the case. But in any event, he, as you mentioned, Giovanna, he's just flooring it wherever he has the opportunity, just trying to create distance and space with those deputies behind him.
Right. And he might be leaving the deputies behind, but the law enforcement chopper is staying with him. And doesn't he see this?
Well, I'm sure.
He certainly sees it. I don't think. Oh, there it is. There it is. He's off.
Yep, he's getting off the freeway.
All right, so this is he's gonna wind down here, and oh boy, it's a tricky one here. Look at this.
It's going to be Azusa Avenue.
Yeah.
And he can make a left or a right. Oh, he's cutting that guy off, making a wild right turn there. And now southbound Azusa Avenue. Southbound Azusa Avenue. Too much traffic for him on the 60 freeway. And now the pursuit continues off the freeway onto surface streets. We'll see if the speeds continue as they have been, but looks like he may think that he's lost those units on the ground. Still see that night sun shining a light on him, but I don't see those deputies just yet. Not sure if they were able to get off the freeway with him. They're being directed to. I'm not sure if they're off the freeway yet. In any event, he's turned off of Azusa onto Colima Road. And you can just see all of these turns put him onto very highly trafficked areas for the most part because of the time of the day. It's literally the middle of rush hour at 5:40 on a Wednesday afternoon, and every turn he makes, he sees brake lights for the most part, and you can see folks just trying to get home without any idea what's coming up behind them. He's already ruined several people's day, but fortunately, at least from what we could tell, does not appear to be. That's a weed whacker that fell off the back of that truck, by the way. It appears to be a gardening truck, guys.
Yes.
There's a lot of landscaping equipment in the back of that. The back of that. The bed of that
truck.
Pickup truck.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But in any event, that appeared to be a weed whacker that fell off there, and he's continuing at a high rate of speed, very dangerously, weaving around even the very few cars that there are in this residential neighborhood. He again has no problem ramming into anybody in his way, but he's trying to avoid them now.
And back to those folks that he stole this truck from, and that's their livelihood, likely.
That was my point. He stole their business, and now it's in jeopardy.
You know, it appears to be a brand new truck. If you look, that appears to be paper plates that are flapping in the back there. So very likely a newer model F. It looks like a
even
Chevy.
more upsetting.
Chevy, it's a Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
And he's continuing now around this this person. But man, he is just. I just every time he gets into these residential neighborhoods, I worry for not only those cars in his way, but all of the people who live here. If he decides to do anything crazy, which he's already done a lot of crazy things, it could get so dangerous. That incident where he ran through that house could have ended in a deadly situation. There was obviously a struggle there. I'm just grateful that from what we observed, nobody was hurt, but there's no guarantee that it's going to end that way. In any event, he's continuing through this residential suburb here. It's going to be, looks like Crosshaven Drive at Calle Madrid. If you live in this neighborhood or know anybody who lives in this neighborhood, you are urged to stay inside because this is a dangerous pursuit that is speeding through your neighborhood.
Okay, yeah. So,
So people watching
get
from
inside,
home, get inside. Sometimes during
lock your doors.
pursuits, we see people come out to the street for various reasons. This is not the time to do that.
There are
guy's
no limits
unpredictable.
from this person who is in this vehicle right now. He's gone into 2 people's homes. He has successfully carjacked 2 vehicles. He tried a 3rd vehicle as well. With the police right behind him 2 different times, he refuses to give up.
All right, coming up on a red light here. He's on the wrong side of the road, northbound Fullerton. That's Colima. He can make a turn there, or if he continues north, that would put him back on the 60. But it looks like he's made a left turn onto Colima Road. Again, a lot more traffic on Colima as well as he makes that westbound turn. I still don't see anybody behind him. There are a few units a ways back, so they are behind him, but they're just a ways back, maybe several football fields back, as he comes up on another red light, trying to get around them. Lots of cross traffic here as he continues through that red light, and he's able to make it through. So Colima Road westbound is where we are. The helicopter's still overhead, and those sheriff's deputies trying desperately to catch up.
And Chris, the original vehicle he was in, it was a Honda Civic. That was stolen as well. Do we have any information on that situation?
We don't know that. That was a guess on my part.
Okay.
That's what I have a feeling, but that means nothing. We have nothing to confirm that it was a stolen vehicle, only to say that they tried to pull him over for some reason. Not sure what that reason is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Close call there onto the median, over the median, and now continuing after missing that cross traffic just by a hair. Just by a hair. Look at this. Officers able to shut down that intersection. We'll see if we start to see that happen again if he continues in the same direction, but there is now, it looked like maybe an undercover vehicle at that intersection. Look at that. They're now cutting him off and shutting down these intersections ahead of him. It's a very hard thing to do, by the way. It's very, very good that they were able to do that for 2 intersections in a row. They can't continue that, but if they can continue to try and leapfrog his trajectory along Colima Road here, that will help things dramatically. It looks like they've got another intersection blocked off here at Puente Hills and Colima, so it's going to be another dangerous situation, but no cross traffic as those deputies have shut down the intersection, giving him a wide berth to speed through the red light, and now continuing westbound on Colima Road. But just the mere act of shutting down the freeway, it saves lives because it stops all of the traffic. Whatever the light traffic signal says, everybody comes to a stop, and this guy can just speed right through these intersections and not kill anybody. So he's continuing at 90 miles per hour on Colima here, and here come those black and whites. Now they're closing in on him.
Yeah. And Chris, this is a different area. I haven't been keeping track completely in all the areas that he's been driving through, but is he circling through the same areas?
No, he is jumping from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Now coming up on Hacienda Heights. We were in Roland Heights, and now for the first time we're in Hacienda Heights, basically paralleling the 60 freeway. So just a few blocks north of him is the 60 freeway. So we're going westbound on Colima Road, and if he continues in this direction, he'll come up on the 605. So 605 off ahead of him, the 60 freeway off to his right, and those deputies clearly closing in on him, giving him a little bit less space. And if they have an opportunity, which they can't with all of this other traffic in their way, but if they have an opportunity, they will pit him. They will pit him and do whatever it takes to get him off the road.
And
but
they should.
that assumes that those officers
it will be, though, exceptionally dangerous if he's going at that rate of speed with that large of a vehicle. But, you know, I guess anything is possible, especially, you know, law enforcement needs to put a stop to this. And look at that. He just hit something right there.
Up on the curb, losing control.
Look at that.
Crashing into another car. Crashed into another car. And it looked like he was trying to evade that deputy again. He was coming up right behind him, and he took that aggressive action, jumping the curb, tearing off somebody else's bumper. Just added to the list, guys. But the pursuit now continuing on Colima through another intersection. Here's another red light. We'll see what he does here. More cross traffic coming through, and now a southbound turn onto South Hacienda Boulevard. Presumably those deputies will make the turn with him and try and close in on him once again. There he is, just about maybe 4 or 5 car lengths back. If he slows down at all, they will close that gap, but every time they do that, he just basically speeds up.
At this speed, I don't know. I don't know if they could pull off a pit maneuver. It just seems exceptionally dangerous.
It's exceptionally dangerous, but you know what? We've seen situations where desperate times call for desperate measures. I think the bigger factor is the fact that there's so many innocent people around him. If they have a straightaway, and obviously they can't do it at like 60 miles per hour. But it's a heavy truck, by the way, so it wouldn't be the easiest pit in the world.
Look at this. He's got one lane in each direction.
Threading the needle, one lane going, one lane coming, southbound Hacienda Road. Cars pulling over, make room for him. But thankfully, in this situation, at least you have the lights and sirens from those deputies right behind him. So you have folks naturally pulling over because they hear the emergency sirens behind them. But this is a very narrow road here. Hacienda Road, as you mentioned, one lane going, one lane coming, and he's going around everybody over the double yellow lines just to get away from that deputy.
Yeah, you know, and also as we watch this incredibly, oh my gosh, he just scraped the side there. He's losing control. He got it back, but this is so
a windy road.
tricky.
It's a windy road, and he's having trouble.
Yeah.
And he's turning these blind turns where people are coming up. This is what I mean about his desperation is beyond measure. And this is why this guy needs to be off the road. He's exceptionally dangerous, and he will not give up. No boundaries.
No
None.
boundaries whatsoever.
None.
He just wants to get away.
No inhibitions. He is going for it. I mean, I think he's pretty well aware of how this is going to end, and it's not going to be pretty. He's basically enjoying his final minutes of freedom here because there is just no chance at this point, no chance whatsoever that he gets away.
Yeah, this is crazy. Okay, so as we continue to watch the situation, I just want to let you know, I'm getting texts and emails from viewers who are saying that a lot more was going on with that family that he stole this truck when they were trying to fight him off than we may have seen. I'm not going to say more than that, but we'll analyze the video when we get the opportunity. There may be something to it. There may not be, but eventually we'll be able to look back at that as we continue to watch this situation, which is equally dangerous, and people have nowhere to go to get out of his way.
So perhaps they knew who he was?
No. Like them trying to fight him off.
I see.
They were doing their best to defend themselves.
Off-roading. He's going to be in trouble here. He's going to be in trouble. He's off the road at a high rate of speed.
Oh my gosh.
He may spin out here.
Like that. Mm-hmm.
All right, back on Hacienda Road. He's gonna, oh man, he just missed that one. Missed that car barely. It's a windy road that's going to meet up with Hacienda Road on the other end, also called Hacienda Road, where it'll have a little more room for him to play with. But right now, it's a windy road with a lot of traffic in both directions. He's now going the wrong way, and here come separate deputies in the oncoming lanes of traffic. But really, what can they do? I mean, he's just, other than get into a head-on collision, which is not an option. They're going to have to turn around now and hopefully triangulate more units ahead of him here, which there will be another major intersection off his nose here. But in any event, he's now back into oncoming lanes of traffic over the double yellow lines at times
almost
at
90.
A high rate of speed once again. Oh, man, this is it just takes your breath away with every intersection that he blows through.
Right. But, gosh, well, he's got a dead end here. No, I mean, it's a T, so he has to go one way or the other.
This looks like a residential area.
Yeah.
Another residential neighborhood with very narrow streets. Looks like he's not, okay, so that's El Rancho Drive, and a series of deputies now following him into this neighborhood, or at least two. Okay, so these are the two that were coming. They turned around with them. Those original deputies, just to put this in perspective, appear to have fallen back. They could not keep up with his driving on Hacienda Road, but those two that were coming in the opposite direction are now right behind him. So two brand new deputies engaged in this hot pursuit along El Dorado Avenue here in Hacienda Heights. We are... it looks like a dead end. It's a cul-de-sac. This is scary. This is scary. A cul-de-sac. They're going to come face to face with the suspect, and you guys know, and our viewers know, what he's capable of in this situation because he's already rammed into several vehicles, including
Yeah, he's
deputy
gonna keep
vehicles. And
going.
there he is again,
Yep.
right through, almost missing them.
Yeah.
And now, oh man,
Guaranteed
continuing
that
right
will
out of
not
the
stop
neighborhood.
him.
He's going to get right out. I
How
mean, he's
is he-
weaseling his way out of these predicaments. And I just don't know how much longer this could go on.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, Chris. How
can't
does he
fathom
get
it.
away each time?
Well,
it appears that they
it's
have
a
him
tough one.
trapped.
If law enforcement gets head-to-head with him, then they're going to force the
Nothing they can do.
confrontation that could be deadly.
Right.
And so
Right.
I'm sure that's what they're trying to avoid. Maybe there's still a chance to get to a peaceful solution. Maybe he's under the influence. Maybe he'll come down. Maybe he'll become exhausted.
He's going to
from
come
stress.
head-to-head
Here's a
here.
right here.
He's going to
This
come
could be bad.
head-to-head with another sheriff's deputy, and he's just going to go around him. That's the protocol, and you can see they're following protocol. They're pulling over, letting him around. They're not going to box him in. And part of the reason, guys, is because these tactics, look at this. He's going out of the neighborhood where there are about a half a dozen.
right there.
Right through those deputies. Again, just missing them. Unbelievable. There's about a dozen black and whites, a sea of orcas trying to keep up with him. And they just have nothing, no tools at their disposal at the moment to get him off the road. I can tell you that part of this is tactical protocol
Yes.
within the department, because
Look.
there are other agencies that would treat this a little bit differently, but right now they are sticking with the book and basically just trying to. Okay, I've just told that he is facing now 3 charges of ADWs, assault with a deadly weapon on a law enforcement
At
officer,
least.
on
Yeah.
top of all the other crimes that we've witnessed here.
Clearly, he doesn't care about the
Just to
charges
kind of
that he's
add it to the
facing.
list. But you
This
can
is
see
so
how many
stressful
cops
to
are
watch.
pulling in here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it
So
is
stressful.
It is unbelievable, and he's back. Is this going to be that windy road again, but going the other way?
It is. He's backtracking on that same windy road, which again has one lane going, one lane in the opposite direction, and at times he just went around traffic by off-roading into the shrubs almost. It was a miracle he was able to maintain his composure there, but spinning up a lot of dust. It's a narrow road and about a dozen black and whites behind him, but that tire, I think his back left tire is
Yeah.
He did hit something. Look at that. More sparks flying. Not
But
sure
there's smoke
if it's
coming out from
the wheel well or if it's
Yeah.
coming from that equipment, but something is making metal, and I got to wonder if all that stuff in the bed of that pickup truck was strapped down. Very possibly
Look
not.
at
We've already
the
seen one
smoke
weed
coming out
whacker.
of the back end. He may have lost a tread. He may be on a wheel again. By the way he's driving, it may not be a spike strip. It may be more like a pinch flat that
Yeah,
maybe
I
has lost
think-
his tread.
I'm being told it may be the result of one of those collisions earlier on the same road before he made his way into that neighborhood, possibly. We're going to try, by the way, to get on the other side, get on the driver's side, and catch a glimpse of that left rear tire to see what he's working with back there. But something back there was hitting the pavement, creating those sparks.
Oh,
there you
it's
see
his
more
front.
sparks actually coming from the front.
Front.
It's coming from the front left. Front left sparks. We'll see what his treads look like, but he is.
He's down to the
He's
wheel.
missing the tire again. He's missing the tire. Okay, so by the way, this is not the first time we've seen this in this pursuit.
No, but
Last
now he's
time-
on a windy one-lane road where there's no maneuverability, and he's not going to be able to handle that truck. So he's going to hit
This-
something.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's going to
He's an
continue these
oncoming car.
turns, especially at these speeds, and they're going to close in on him when he does. But again, there are so many innocent people in the immediate vicinity of this. If it ended right now and the vehicle was disabled, there is just so much crossfire, so much collateral in his way here. Civilians that are just in danger every time I see every. Oh man, I just cannot keep up with this guy. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose control of this vehicle, and it's going to end very ugly. But
This
at least
is
for
the
time
worst
being-
scenario for a road for him to be on. There's no maneuverability for the
Right.
people who are coming at him. They
More
have
sparks.
nowhere to go. He's not going to be able to handle that truck. The maneuverability is dead on that. It's also
Yeah.
a very heavy vehicle. It's going to be really tricky. It'll be a miracle if he gets through this. It doesn't mean he won't. He might get through it. We've seen crazy things happen on this pursuit, and let's hope he does get through it so no innocent people get hurt. But right there, and there are blind turns that people will be coming out of nowhere, and they'll have to be evasive, and who knows if he can maneuver that truck to get out of the way.
You're starting to get a better idea of how much law enforcement is dedicated to getting this guy off the road. There's about a dozen units behind him. We just saw another half dozen in front of him in the opposite lanes, and now he is continuing at a high rate of speed on a straightaway portion of Hacienda Boulevard, coming up on Colima Road once again if he decides to get back on Colima. But look at that. He's losing that rim.
And it's incredible.
He's on borrowed time with this truck.
By the way, we're starting Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock now. Giovanna has switched out with Ellen Leyva. Ellen Leyva was with us when this began during Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. So we're going into the third show now of this pursuit, and it's been like this the entire way.
And you can always gauge an interesting pursuit, an exciting pursuit, because the whole entire newsroom, you just hear waves of, oh my goodness, or whatever. And it's just, this has been the scariest pursuit to watch in a long, long time.
Yeah, it is a desperate situation, and this person clearly does not have all of his wits about him. He's making irrational decisions, and as a result, the entire community is in danger, and we've witnessed that first.
And how is he maneuvering with just that front tire like that?
Let's see how this goes.
Barely maneuvering. You see, we're very fortunate that he's on a straightaway section of street here, but if he has to make any tight turns at any speed, it's going to be very difficult for him. But at the very least, you're going to start to see that wheel come apart, and eventually the axle won't be able to turn. But that's obviously a heavy-duty truck. It's built for all kinds of situations, and these are not easy to break down. But you can see he's definitely testing the limits of this truck, and now without that front left tire, it's only a matter of time. Now those deputies have fallen back once again because he's blowing through these red lights, continuing at a high rate of speed, 70 miles per hour at what cannot be more than about a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit, and he's blowing through all these intersections with cross traffic. So many close calls.
Newsroom. He just smashed
crashing into a Jeep, crashing into another vehicle here, and wiping him out off the road. He just took out another vehicle, rammed into him, heavy damage. I hope that person's okay.
Yeah, whiplash, big time.
And now he's trying. Look at this again, ramming into more cars and trucks.
He can't stop. He doesn't have tread to stop. He cannot maneuver that vehicle.
I have never.
Oh, this is coming to an end right here.
Unbelievable! Head on with another car.
My goodness.
And here comes not even a pit maneuver.
They're going to put it into it right here.
Into a gas station. Folks getting gas at the corner of Gale and Hacienda. Into a gas pump. And now he's going to try and get out probably, but he's going to put it out in reverse. Back in reverse towards that deputy. Look at this. Ramming into the front end. They're shooting. They're shooting at him. They're shooting. We're going to widen out.
It's coming to an end.
And they are now firing into the cab of that pickup truck.
At all those black and whites.
Unbelievable.
He's still gunning it, though.
They are using force. Deadly force is being employed at this moment to try and stop this madness in the middle.
The wheels are still turning. Are they stopping?
They are stopped. They have stopped. The wheel is off.
He's still trying. Look at that
wheel is off.
That rear tire is still going.
Yep. Is it still going?
It was still turning.
Going. So his foot's on the gas.
It's sort of like a deja vu.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Foot on the gas.
Listen, it's
bullets flying through that truck, and now we'll see as they surround the vehicle, multiple teams and K9 units already on the scene here, surrounding the vehicle, at least the rear of the vehicle. They can't surround it completely, obviously. They don't want to create a crossfire situation.
They're telling everybody to get out of the way. They're telling the innocent bystanders to get out of the way. What is this?
Someone's hurt there.
Somebody's hurt. It looks like somebody. That's the driver. That's the driver. It looks like the driver of that car that he rammed head-on into.
But are they putting cuffs on him?
It looks like he's being arrested. He's being detained for some reason. Not sure what that's about, but we'll focus on the truck for now. We'll focus on the truck. Obviously, more to that story. But clearly, this ending in a crash with several vehicles, including that one right there.
He's still trying to go.
He's still gassing it, creating a lot more smoke.
Well, did they shoot him or did they not? Disabled. Do you see bullet holes? I don't see bullet holes. I don't see a. There is something there.
And why haven't they shot?
Something just went through that driver's side window.
Now that may have been a gunshot. That may have been something.
He's still gassing it.
Have they shot any tear gas canisters into the car?
Multiple bullet holes through the driver's side window, guys.
Okay, yeah. Now there are.
Okay.
Those are shotgun shells. Those are high caliber shotgun shells that have now fired right through that driver's side window.
They might have gotten there.
They may
most
have
likely
waited
putting an
to
end
use
this.
deadly force on him, but I think they finally, with his, refusal to give up, and now we don't see the wheel turning anymore. They maybe waited that long.
And
Yeah, this has come to an end, guys. I hate to tell you, but I'm happy
Yeah.
to say that
Well,
this has
yeah.
come to an end. But obviously, a treacherous and deadly situation potentially for the suspect. So we will see if those wheels finally stop spinning, which it appears that they have. You
Yeah.
can see dozens and dozens of officers at the corner of Gale and Hacienda Boulevard. Canine units at the ready. They are going to approach eventually. It could take a lot of time in some cases to approach the vehicle and try and get a better view into the cab. Unfortunately, really hard to see through the front windshield because if we get in front of it, you see the awning from the gas station would be concealing it. So we really can't get a good view into the driver's seat just yet.
Yeah.
But we've got to...
We'll analyze the situation. There may be bullet holes there down on the door. Maybe they didn't shatter the windshield. Maybe there was shooting at the beginning when you thought
A whole
there
bunch.
was.
There's
Yeah.
smaller rounds in the rear window, large shotgun shells
Yeah.
through the front window. It's just a wait and see game at this point. They are eventually, obviously, treating this with kid glove care, but obviously they have to take their time before just approaching the vehicle. And they have there's a fire though.
Yeah, there's a fire.
The vehicle's on fire. The vehicle's on fire,
have
and
to
that's
make a
going to
move
require the
sooner
fire
than later
department.
then.
They're going to
Yeah.
have to pull him out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're going to have to pull him out of the driver's seat.
This is not over. This is
not over
incredible.
by
how many
any
patrol
stretch.
cars has he ran into?
Well, patrol
Total.
cars had a hard time keeping up with it, but he's run into a lot of civilian vehicles. And I have to say, Chris, and I'm sorry to say, but this ended exactly as we suspected it would. It was really, really tragic to see this happen.
Yeah, I think that last officer tried to ram into him intentionally,
Yeah.
but then he put it in reverse and ran right back into him.
Yeah.
There were multiple. I mean, if you ask how many black and whites have been hit, I've lost
there we
count,
go.
quite frankly. So
they are with
I
the,
can't tell you
fire
exactly how
retardant.
many. There were a whole bunch of parked cars and cars in traffic at the end of that pursuit before that major intersection. And there was one Jeep, a white Jeep
gosh.
soft top, that he got wiped out completely. I hope he's okay. They're going to have to check on him.
Keep in mind, we're getting all of the video gathered. We'll show you what has happened here, but right now, the concern, you see the bullet holes in the door and the windshield, and then those big bullet holes there, which could be shotgun shots that went through the windshield a couple of minutes after we
Multiple
initially
shots.
saw.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to watch this situation and see what happens here. But this was one of the most incredible, if not the most incredible pursuits I've ever seen. I mean,
And
visually.
a lot of years of pursuits. This
We
has been-
did see that giant RV run from officers that eventually disintegrated. That was incredible to see. But when it comes to sheer fear and worry for what this person is capable of doing, I don't know if anything measures to what we just saw.
And as someone who is so desperate to get away, I've never seen anything like
All
that.
right, guys. I'm being told that obviously we don't know what his condition is inside that vehicle, but they have reason to believe he is armed inside that vehicle. So now it appears that they are aware of a weapon potentially inside that vehicle. That's gonna, not that I mean, the whole truck has been a weapon this entire time, obviously. But if there's a weapon inside that vehicle, that adds to the calculus as they approach the vehicle. But in any event, they're going to try and get clear eyes on him before opening that car. Again, this could take a lot of time. This could turn into an extended standoff potentially. Unless they decide that they want to be more aggressive.
Okay,
obviously.
While they're watching this, where you watch this, Chris, we're showing some folks some of the details of what happened during this pursuit. And on that windy road, here we see him kind of aggressively maneuvering around these single lanes, one coming each way. And then from this aggressive behavior is when I think eventually we saw him go up on the shoulder of the road, and that may be what caused him to create that flat on his front driver's side tire that eventually got him to lose his tread because he was driving so aggressively. And this is where we were really worried that he was going to run into some oncoming traffic, but he didn't, at least here. It was a little bit later on where we saw him smash into the back end of that Jeep, and I guarantee that driver has some severe whiplash right there.
Just
you
right
see?
there. He sideswiped a car right there.
And it could be something like that caused that flat on the front because he so aggressively hit the shoulder. Watch this. He's trying to stop. He can't. That's when he smashes into that Jeep, and the Jeep is basically lifted off and pushed over a couple of lanes. And it's right after this, you see him gun it again. Then he's going to lose control right up here near the end of this block here, and he's going to smash into more cars. Fly through the intersection here, and that's when law enforcement gets behind him. He's going to come across several lanes, hit this car.
Let's see what happens when this man that they arrested in that car.
Yeah, and that's the man they arrested, the car that he just hit. And this is where it basically came to an end. He didn't give up here. Look at that front wheel. It's basically dislodged. But even here, scary that it's in a gas station, and the innocent people are all over, and then he backs up. And then this is where I think this is where police, sheriffs decide to take aggressive action.
And look at the incredible amount of law enforcement that showed up at this particular intersection. This is just an incredible sight to see.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
And this is where the shots were fired.
Shots that have already been fired, but you'll see, though, that the wheels are still turning.
Oh, he's still trying to get away.
Yeah, see those wheels? They're still turning. And so you'll notice that his windshields are intact at the moment, but it's soon after this, then you'll see these big, that's where the arrest is taking place right there, and the person in the last car that was hit, we don't know what happened there. Maybe he was just really angry at the sheriffs for hitting this. He probably doesn't understand what just happened. But you'll notice the driver's side windshield on the side there it goes. There's a first blast, and there'll be a couple more.
And still trying to rev his tires there and try to take off, even in this state.
3 more. I mean, there were 3 blasts in all that got into the windshield of the driver's side, and soon after that, we see the wheel stop turning.
You can see the sparks on the far left, on the right side, the back tire there. That's what caused that fire. Exactly.
And this is protocol. This is how they train. They know what to do. They know how to handle these situations. These guys do a lot of training. Boy, but this was such a difficult pursuit in so many different ways because he was so reckless and so dangerous. And his refusal, the stubbornness, refusal to give up.
And this is the second truck that we saw, and that poor guy has been watching this entire pursuit. We saw 3 attempts to carjack,
and 2 of them were successful, but we also saw him break into that home and those poor people at home. Now, this is important. We did get information from the newsroom that everybody and the pets in that home in Whittier, they are doing okay.
Oh,
granted, this is their vehicle.
Great news.
Yeah, that's good news. Nobody was hurt in that confrontation, and boy, they really went to war with this guy. They did not cower. There you see them all coming out to fight this guy, to stop this guy, but he somehow was able to slip into their vehicle.
Yeah, there you see it. There you see a pit bull, and that little tiny dog was really going after the guy.
That gentleman in the white shirt has a knife, and then he flies through their gate, and then the pursuit was on again. But they're said to be okay. But
so, David and Ellen, they're preparing to fire more rounds into the cap, less than lethal rounds, we believe. And it's unclear. My question becomes, because we were told it might be a pepper ball, but in any event, is it to clear the window to gain visibility, or is it because they still see movement inside the vehicle? The pepper ball leads me to believe that they have reason to believe that maybe there's movement in the vehicle. It seems unlikely from what we're witnessing here, but in any event, they are preparing to fire more less than lethal rounds into the cab of that truck. So something to watch out for as we continue to watch this play out on the corner of Hacienda Boulevard and Gale Avenue. Not clear on where those shots will be fired from.
Probably right there from the front hood of that 103. It looks like he's got.
That's what I think as well.
I think that's where they have it. He's got the best shot right there.
And they probably want to see if he's conscious or not. Maybe to see if there is movement.
That is, I mean, that's going to be the concern. Is he conscious? Is he bleeding out? There's a lot, I'm sure, that they're thinking about and dealing with, but they can't put themselves in danger. This guy has already proven he's not
Oh, yeah,
going to give up.
He's definitely not.
And he doesn't care about anybody else's health either. So this is one of those situations where you just got to handle it as safely as possible. But it's really tragic to see. And
Well, I mean, you know, when you think about the number of lives that he has put in danger over the last 90 minutes, I mean, it's just bewildering. But in any event, here comes an arrest team. They're going to approach with shields up, guns drawn, and they've got tactical tools at their disposal if they face any resistance. But the first order of business is going to be clearing that driver's side window. The glass breaker is being employed, ramming the driver's side window, and now getting a much clearer view that we will keep somewhat.
I don't see any movement. Oh,
I
There
do
is
see
movement.
movement.
He's
There
moving.
is movement.
He is moving.
He is moving.
I saw his hand. The back seat appears clear. Now they'll try. It looks like he's injured, and it looks like they're going to make an attempt to open that door, but it's not open yet. They may just pull him through the windshield. They may pull him through that window, guys. I have a feeling they will just pull him right through the driver's side window without bothering with the door. We don't know what
They
kind
may
of
not be
condition
able to get
he's
the door
in,
open with
but
it.
you saw what I saw, which was his hand moving. It looked like he
Here you
maybe
go.
had crawled into the passenger seat, and there you go. They're going around the passenger side to bring him out. Wow. Stepping out of the
What?
vehicle. Whoa.
What? Wow. He's walking and he's.
What in the world?
That is
guy is on,
unbelievable.
He's had 9 lives.
I'm sorry. I'm speechless.
That's
I am
this
too.
is
unbelievable
just,
to me.
you know,
I
Wow.
never thought we'd see him walk out of that. It doesn't mean he's not hurt. He may be shot. He may be bleeding.
But he's walking.
But he's walking. He's alive.
Incredible. And what a
Incredible.
miracle that nobody was seriously hurt in this.
No,
was
we don't know
actual
that. We
miracle.
don't know that.
Absolutely.
He hit a number of
Oh,
people
that's
on the
true.
road. We
That's
have to
true.
investigate that.
That
So
Jeep.
that Jeep
That
has
Jeep
me
looked
concerned.
bad. That's true.
And the last gentleman who got arrested, we don't know who else was in his vehicle.
Well, let's hope that they all are okay. But
This is
I can't believe that
unbelievable.
they have this guy in custody and he is alert.
Who is this man? We don't know.
We
What
will-
did he do? We don't know that either.
We need to find out.
There's a lot of questions to be answered. But
This was just a traffic warrant at first.
do you call this good news? I mean, he is alive, which is good news. The casualty list is I think fairly long. The people that he ran into today.
How many cars did he hit? I lost count.
And houses, and there's lost property. This has been unbelievable, and yet we still don't know anything about this guy. This just started as him being in a black Honda Civic and them trying to pull him over, and he took off.
It's almost hard to believe it's over. I can't believe.
But,
what
and
we
Chris,
just saw.
you didn't even, did you get the call for this, or did you stumble upon it because you just pulled off that other pursuit at Knott's Berry Farm, and the next thing you know, you're on this one?
That's one of the wildest
seconds
things
later.
about this. We were right over Knott's Berry Farm, and as they apprehended 2 suspects inside the park after locking down Soak City, we turned around. Anaheim PD's airship was heading to another pursuit, and we literally turned around, and here came this Honda Civic flying up the 90 freeway right past Knott's Berry Farm, and that's when the pursuit was on once again. From one to another, we stumbled on this one, and the rest is literally history.
Wow.
Right.
Well, in your pursuits that you've covered, hundreds of them, where does this one rank as far as
I mean,
crazy?
you know, this is up there, guys. I always go back to the RV, like David said, but this was breathtaking and far more dangerous when we think about just the way it ended. I mean, bullets flying at the end of such a dangerous pursuit where so many motorists were placed into harm's way. I mean, a home
Motorists,
invasion, and the home
homeowners.
invasion in the middle of it with dogs under the car. My heart was stopping when he got into that truck with the dogs under the truck. I mean, it's just endless. A roller coaster of emotions up here, but thank goodness it's all over. And
Chris,
I'm
going to talk folks through what they're seeing. This is the end of the Honda pursuit where he's trying to break into this vehicle. At first, Chris and I thought that maybe this was his car, and he was dumping the Honda to get this. But then we realized he was actually trying to break into that car, and he couldn't do it. So he became more and more frustrated, but you see his desperation. What was interesting here, there are no police vehicles behind him. So he literally had the time to get out, try to break into a vehicle, give up on that, get back in the car, and then he was on his way again. And it was when he wound around in this Honda Civic, he eventually found his way into
this townhouse complex, and that's where he makes a run for it and finds this van there, and somehow he manages to, it was unlocked, and he manages to get inside and take off with it.
We don't know.
It manages to start the darn thing, but you see, okay, it's over, we got him blocked in, but no.
No, he refused. And he was going back and forth and back and forth.
He was determined to get out of there.
And this is where I knew this has reached a level that's going to be extremely violent, because he's refusing to give up. He's daring police to try to shoot him, but they didn't. They
3 times
maintained discipline, but you'll see him really start to gun it and really get some leverage.
Fire department.
Okay, fire department is here.
Fire department. They're going to check him out, and likely, in all likelihood, he will be placed into an ambulance with an escort.
Yeah, I find it.
He ran that car 6 times already on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Are we looking at the van that you're looking at?
We're looking at the van. I know you can't see it. We're looking at the van, and he's over and over slamming that car, and each time he slams it, he pushes it back another foot or so until he gets his space. And there's only one unit there. And so there he is. You see, that's how he's able to slip out. And then the pursuit is on when it comes to this white van, which is exceptionally dangerous because he almost lost control of this vehicle a number of times.
He had trouble driving that van.
Yeah, and it's just not. It's a heavy, non-maneuverable vehicle, and.
But when the van caught on fire, that's when I thought it was over.
Yeah. So pursuit part 2.
We literally saw that van catch on fire, and then he jumped out and took another. He ran. I mean, it was a full-on foot pursuit into that neighborhood. He must have ran a couple of blocks before ending up in that home and then stealing this pickup truck.
Yeah, we're still watching him.
Incredible stamina.
We're still watching him in the van as he eventually just kind of took off in the van, hazard lights on and everything. And on the left-hand side, that's the live picture. You see fire department checking him out. I'm so curious to see what kind of injuries he has with all those shots being fired inside that car. But on the right-hand side, that's the van that he refused to give up on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I'm sorry, David.
We do have our reporter David Gonzalez at the scene where that van was stolen. And what do you know there, David?
Hey, Ellen, and this is an absolutely crazy pursuit. And the way it ended, I could tell you that the police officers here in Anaheim were actually following our live stream. They were just amazed at what they were seeing, because it started here, as well as Chris Christie said, after that suspect broke into that van that was parked here in this townhouse condominium area. It was parked right behind me. You still see police officers here on the scene. We actually spoke to the owner of that van, who said he was not here at the site of this townhouse apartment complex, and that someone actually told him that this pursuit was taking place, that this van had been stolen. He rushed to this area and realized that that was his van. I don't know if we could play that video of that suspect jumping into that van, but you just see him jump into the van and basically try to steal it. He stole it and starts backing up into that police officer that had parked up and pulled up right behind him, and just started ramming that van over and over and over until he was able to get away. And he led, obviously, authorities through this pursuit all across Orange County until he led into LA County, and that's where he was lost a tire, got stuck, and then we obviously saw him, as you guys have mentioned, break into a home and then steal another van. But we actually caught up with that homeowner, the owner of the van, when he showed up here to the scene looking for his vehicle, and this is what he had to say.
Broke into the van and then was able to steal the van.
You want to come in?
After he was able to steal the van, as he was backing up, the police were coming up behind him, and he backed out and was ramming the police to get out of the parking area. And as he did, and he took off.
Hey guys, back out here live. The owner of that van just walked out of the home because he's been watching this all develop all across SoCal, following this pursuit closely. Once again, just walk us through when you realized that your van was actually involved in this pursuit and obviously how it all ended.
Okay, well, the president of the HOA, how I found out, called me when we were almost home from leaving Knott's Berry Farm. And so what happened was we were at Knott's Berry Farm and we were leaving Knott's Berry Farm, and we saw all the police activity going on, and we were kind of joking about it, like, whoa, this is crazy, it's all getting too close to home. And then right before we pulled in our parking lot, the president of the HOA called me and said, I think somebody stole your van. And I thought she was like half kidding, or she's definitely mistaken if she's not kidding. And then I'm like, no, probably not. Why would you think that? And she said, and then she went on explaining, and then she's like, no, John, I'm watching your van on TV right now. They stole your van. And I said, are you? Okay, well, I said, well, we're almost home. I want to check it out. And sure enough, when it came up, obviously the police were here and everything. You guys stand right here, don't move, okay? And so, anyways, when we were leaving Knott's Berry Farm, my wife goes, you know, this is all getting too weird. It's getting too close to home with all the police activity and everything, only to come home and find out it was my van that they stole. It was just too strange. Yes.
I think a lot of people have the question, were your keys in the van?
No.
Did he hotwire it? What took place? You think that he was able to get away with your van?
Keys are right here, okay? And I definitely lock my car every time. So he either has some kind of master key or he hotwired the car, but he definitely knew what he was doing, because after he got done with my car, he was able to hop in another car and take it as well.
I think a lot of people are wondering too, was this a work van? What was this van for you?
It's my work vehicle. And as a matter of fact, I got to go rent a van now, because I'm going to need to work tomorrow, because my clients expect me to be there on a daily basis.
So just what kind of predicament does this put you in? Obviously, your van right now, it lost a tire.
It was on fire? Is that true?
That's something that we're actually could ask maybe David and Ellen back in the studio. We saw the back tire catching on fire. It was stuck in a spot where it couldn't move because they had lost that tire, but we can't actually confirm if it was on fire. But just what predicament does it put you in, knowing that your van is now part of a major crime scene all across the city?
Well, I'm completely blown away, and I'm a little stunned and dumbfounded at this point. I'm still trying to process it all. But like I said, I gotta go rent a van, and who knows how long I'm gonna be renting this van until I need to get another vehicle. And refrigerator vans are hard to come by, not to mention very expensive. So it's put us in a pretty tight predicament, you know, especially with the way the economy and gas prices are and everything. So yeah, we're in a tough predicament, but what's most important to me and my wife is that we're safe, and our kids are safe, and our family is safe, and we thank God for that.
All right, thank you very much, John. We appreciate your time. But as you heard from John right there, his van was parked here. He has his physical keys on him. So the big question is just how this individual was able to so easily break into his van, which was parked in the parking lot of this townhouse condominium, and get away and just ram this police officer over and over and over until it was able to get away. But as he mentioned, he's very sad, because this is his work van that he depends on every day. Now he's going to have to find another way to basically take care of his clients who depend on him. Back to you guys.
I really feel bad.